Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last day of the 2021 International Conference on Establishing Climate Finance Business Models for Developing Countries. The conference will start at 4 p.m. KST. Thank you for joining. Please wait for a moment as we're preparing for today's session. Thank you. Hello, everyone. The conference will start soon. Please turn on your cameras and mute your mics. Thank you. Distinguished guests, welcome to the last day of International Conference on Establishing Climate Finance Business Models for Developing Countries. I hope you had a good rest after a long PCP drafting session yesterday. Today is a very special day as we will share the output of the conference, the project concept paper written by each country. To start our session today, President of Holding Company Limited, Mr. Chung Han Oh will give a recap on what we have done in the conference so far.
Distinguished guests, first of all, I would like to thank all government officials for your hard work during the last few weeks. Although November is your business time of the year, due to the government budget balance, you went through 5 intense pre-meetings, each lasting for more than 2 hours, and a 3-day conference to prepare the PCP and present the final result today. The PCP that each country will present was created for the purpose of upgrading to GCF concept note, EDCF PCP, and others. We will continue to cooperate with the governments of the participating countries after the conference to carry out these projects successfully. Particularly, there is one thing you should take into account regarding the PCP. The waste recycling and waste to energy technology we proposed is not a new technology. Instead, it is an effective combination of the MBT facility and the SRF process, and it is used in developed countries, including Korea. We named this process Resources Recycling Waste Energy RRE because currently there is no specific name for this process. However, you can name it WRE, which stands for Waste Recycling and Waste to Energy. This name could be modified as it was named to mean to recycle waste and turn waste into energy. We are confident that if the PCPs written in this conference are materialized, they will significantly help strengthen participating countries' climate capacities and drastically reduce carbon emission in the countries. Thank you, government officials from all the countries, once again, for your hard work and enthusiasm. I would also like to thank all experts and participating for making this conference a success. I hope you will have a fruitful session today as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oh. I also believe that we had a very meaningful time writing the PCP. Thank you all the government officials and invited experts for your effort. As you know, today we'll have the PCP presentation by 4 countries: Vietnam, Lao People's Democratic Republic, and Mongolia, and Republic of Rwanda. Before beginning our session today, I would like to introduce our invited experts who will give us advice on the PCP written by government officials. Firstly, we have Ms. Kavita Sinha. She's the Deputy Director of Division of Mitigation and Adaptation at Green Climate Fund. Good afternoon, Ms. Sinha. You're here with us, right? Oh, I can see
Yes.
you. Okay, hello. Thank you
Good
so much
afternoon.
for coming. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to all the delegates.
Yes. Yeah, could you say hello to our participants?
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to join this. Very, very grateful to be participating today. As you introduced, I'm Kavita Sinha from the Green Climate Fund. I'm the Deputy Director for Mitigation and Adaptation. And I'm very glad to be invited to participate and look forward to hearing from the participants and respected government officials the work that you have done over the last few days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sinha. it's our pleasure to have you here today as well. We're hoping to receive a lot of advice from you. Thank you. Secondly, we'll have Ms. Hani Han. She's the Senior Loan Officer at Economic Development Cooperation Fund. Ms. Han, you're here with us, right?
Yes, hello. My name is Hani Han, and I work at the EDCF Cooperation Department in Korea Export-Import Bank. And I hope we could have fruitful and meaningful discussion and sharing opinions today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Han. We hope the same too. Ms. Hye-Chung Cho, Loan Officer at Economic Development Cooperation Fund, also joined us today. Ms. Cho, you're here with us, right?
Yes, I'm here with Hani. It's a
Hello.
pleasure to be here. Hi, my name is Hye-Chung from Korea Exim Bank, Loan Officer for EDCF Coordination Department. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming today. We're looking forward to receive your advice for participating countries' government officials. All right, we'll also have Ms. Joo-hee An. She's the Senior Manager at Korea Development Bank. Ms. An.
Hi,
hello.
hello everybody. I'm so happy to have a e-meeting with you all. And then thank you for having me today. Actually, I'd like to give you a very brief introduction of KDB at GCF-AE. Actually, KDB was accredited at GCF-AE in 2016. And then KDB has been working as GCF-AE so far. So I just like to say that I'm here at GCF-AE, not as KDB itself, because the looking at the project is totally different between GCF-AE and KDB itself. So, but actually I'm feeling a little bit awkward because I'm not sure I'm the right person to say something about GCF funded projects, because there is already panel from GCF. Hello, Kavira. So if she can bear with me, I'll do my best to advise you as much as I can. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Han. Thank you so much for your sharing. It's our pleasure to have you here with us as well. We also have Ms. Riwon Yang. She's the Senior Researcher at Green Technology Center. Ms. Yang, can you please say hello to our participant?
Hello, everyone. My name is Riwon Yang. I'm a Senior Researcher at Green Technology Center, Korea. GTC is a policy research institute under the Ministry of Science and ICT of Korea. We work especially on climate technology, how to build an enabling policy environment for the climate technology to be applied and to be deployed. We also work with various stakeholders from different countries to develop climate technology projects. We also work with GCF and CTC and all the implementing entity under the UNFCCC. Yeah, so I'm very happy to be here today, and I look forward to our discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Yang. It's real nice to see you again. I heard you give many advice for our government officials in the PCP drafting session yesterday. So we're looking forward to receiving your advice and insights today as well. And lastly, we have Professor Ejin Kim from Dongseo University. Professor Kim, it's great to see you again.
Yes, me too. Hello, and Sabaidi, Xin-chao, Muraho, Senbeno. Hello, nice to meet you here, distinguished guest. Thank you for inviting this special conference. Thank you again for inviting me. And I think this is a very precious and a very meaningful conference in my side also. I'm a professor at Dongseo University, and then my experience is starting from the KOICA volunteer works, and then I lived at Egypt, and then I worked at Sri Lanka KOICA office, and then I'm I'm starting to give OD education center in KOICA, and I remembered. I think our special partner countries are also remembered this session at the beginning of this conference. Did you remember, guys? Yeah, PCP World was just a white paper. It was just a white paper, but we had great time with many of the specialists. And as already they introduced this app, but now I think that through the encouragement and then comments of many people, I mean the specialists like yesterday, it feels like vitality has been given to this PCP, and then now PCP is just not the white paper. Now I think very very how can I say very meaningful paper and now. And I think our time today will be a time to find a value and meaning. Once again, I would like to thank you, the partner country who wrote the PCP and then expert who attended on behalf of the organization that improved the PCP with valuable comments like yesterday. Thank you very much for inviting me this special conference and the meaningful conference. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kim. It's our great pleasure to have you as well. Thank you so much for working so hard since the pre-meetings last week until the main conference. We really appreciate your help. All right. Now, I would like to thank all the government officials from participating countries for attending the conference. So right now, I'll introduce the participants from each country according to the PCP presentation order. So firstly, from Vietnam, we have 5 officers here with us. We have Ms. Anh Thị Lê Trần. She's the head of division at Northern Environmental Protection Department at Vietnam Environment Administration. Ms. Hiền Thị Thu Trần. She's a senior officer at Waste Management Department, Vietnam Environment Administration. We also have Ms. Anh Thị Văn Nguyễn. She's a deputy director at Minh Thái Environment Company. And Mr. Cường Quốc Lã. He's the deputy director at Tài Tiến Company. And lastly, Mr. Anh Ngọc Vũ, he's the officer at Yên Bái Environmental Protection Agency, Yên Bái Department of Natural Resources and Environment. And secondly, from Lao PDR, we have the following officers here with us. Mr. Longkham Asanavong, he's the deputy director, a general of Department of Pollution Control and Monitoring. Mr. Sitsay Makvile, he's the Deputy Director, Chemical and Waste Management Division at Department of Pollution Control and Monitoring. Mr. Kelsangkhom Pomasing, he's at Policy Division at Department of Pollution Control and Monitoring. We also have Ms. Bobakon Phongphichit, he's the Director at Planning and Cooperation Division, Department of Planning and Finance. Ms. Pavika Kimanivong, she's a senior officer, Planning and Cooperation Division, Department of Planning and Finance. We also have Mr. Nodeng Vongdala, he's a technical staff, Department of Pollution Control and Monitoring. And lastly, we have Ms. Chantamani Siniya, she's the freelance consultant at Department of Climate Change. We also have 7 officers from Mongolia, here with us today. They are Mr. Arikun Sadaku. He's the head of waste management at Mayor's Office of Ulaanbaatar City. Ms. Oyun Adiya, she's the officer at Environment and Natural Resources Management, Ministry of Environment and Tourism. Mr. Namdorch Alima, he's the officer at Health and Social Policy Institute, Mayor's Office of Ulaanbaatar City. Ms. Darangaravu Atengre, officers at Climate Change Department, Ministry of Environment and Tourism. Mr. Utrol Bubatar, he's the officers, Innovation and Clean Technology Division at Ministry of Environment and Tourism. Ms. Patsesek Bantrak, she's the officer at International Cooperation Division at Ministry of Environment and Tourism. And lastly, Mr. Sukracha Mijisuren, he's an NDC facilitator at Climate Change Department, Ministry of Environment and Tourism. And lastly, from Republic of Rwanda, we have 6 officers who joined us today. Mr. Emil Hapimana, Environmental Safeguard Specialist, Single Project Implementation Unit, Ministry in charge of Emergency Management. Mr. Jack Nasingi Yumba, Air Quality Specialist, Environmental Compliance and Enforcement, Rwanda Environment Management Authority. Mr. Dismas Karuranga, Pollution and Waste Policy Specialist, Environment and Climate Change, Ministry of Environment. Mr. Israel Dufatanye, Strategic Environmental Assessment Monitoring Officer, Environmental Compliance and Enforcement at Rwanda Environment Management Authority. And Ms. Rachel Businge, she's the Environmental Auditor, Environmental Compliance and Enforcement in Rwanda Environment Management Authority. And lastly, Ms. Talisa Uwi Kunda, she's a Chief Operation Officer at Corporate Senior Management at ETA Group Incorporation Limited. Thank you so much, all the government officials, for coming. And now, without further ado, we will start our PCP presentation session today. Thank you all the presenters today, and also the invited experts for your insightful comments and advice. I'm sure they will be very helpful to the project development of each country. And as a person who have worked with all the participating countries' government officials in the pre-meetings until the main conference today, I can see a lot of improvements in the PCP, and I think they are all very well developed, and we hoping that the PCPs that we developed in this conference will be further elaborated and articulated and then successfully implemented. So it's already nearly the end of our 4-day conference. It is my pleasure to be the MC throughout our 4 days and work with you. So now we will have a photo session to commemorate our last day. So please all turn on your cameras and show us your smiles. Please turn on your cameras. Let us see your faces. The picture was taken, so thank you so much. All right, now we'll move on to the very last session of the conference, the closing ceremony. So first, representatives from each country would briefly express their impressions about our whole conference. Could we first start with Ms. Lê Anh from Vietnam? Could you share your feelings with us?
Yes, sir, and madam. Yeah, we will have a long presentation and very first comment from other consultants and experts. Yes, now is the last day of international conference. On behalf of Vietnamese team, we would like to thank the organizer of international conference on establishing climate business models for developing country conference. They are the In천테크노파크 and Horin Company Limited. In this conference, Vietnam countries and three countries have a chance to share experience on waste management and the priority policy on solid waste management from each country, especially on this conference. The eco-friendly municipal solid waste treatment methods and management technology are compared and analyzed by the consultant and expert. Besides this, most suitable waste treatment methods and climate financial business models for developing countries in cooperation with GCF, World Bank, IDB, and Korean ODA support agency are there. And each country, including Vietnam, we have prepared the project concept paper on the eco-friendly waste management and treatment with government and private sector involvement. We do hope that based on these international workshops and our project concept paper, which is one of very important output of conference, will be considered and further developed and implemented by GCF and Korea OTA fund such as KOICA, EDCF in cooperation with government and other public-private sector. Yeah. Once again, we would like to thank and hope that next year we will have an international conference, and then we'll have a conference face-to-face, not online like this. Yeah. Thank you very much, and see you again. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Le Anh. Thank you for your time and effort, and also our pleasure to work with you. We hope we can see you in person next year. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Long Kam from Lao PDR. Can you please share your short comment on the conference?
안녕하세요. Good afternoon. Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Lao delegation, I would like to congratulate to host, sponsor, and partner institutions, especially sincere thanks to Incheon Metropolitan City, Incheon Technopark, Horin, GCF, EDCF, KOICA, and other partners for the hard work and excellent arrangement of the international conference on establishing climate finance business model for developing countries. We have learned and shared our experience from 4 days of conference. The presentation from GCF, EDCF, and KOICA highlight on climate finance institution overview, project concept paper, guideline from key expert is very important for our team for waste management project preparation. As I mentioned on the first day, that the government of Laos pay attention to waste issues and include in the one of priority action in the National Social Economic Development Plan. In addition, the 5-year action plan of natural resources and environment sector also focus on waste management, which try to implementation of 3 Rs, improving of solid waste management system, particularly the plastic disposal. Ladies and gentlemen, the international conference is important for us in order to prepare project proposal and accessing to resources that will help to solve the waste issues and will contribute to socio-economic development. Moreover, the project is not only improve waste facility, the capacity building will be one of key activities of the project. In order to ensure sustainability, partner engagement, and community in ownership. Finally, thank you so much for invitation, Lao team, for attending this conference, and I hope you will continue support and assist us on project preparation. I wish you healthy success on your career and looking forward to working with expert team on the next step. Kamsahamnida. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Long Kam. It's our pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you for the time and your effort. And now we'll move on to representative of Mongolia, Mr. Namdorj. Okay, could you please share your impression with us?
Okay. Hello, everybody. I appreciate you that give me chance to the closing remarks. I thank you for hosting this significant international conference on establishing climate finance business models for developing countries online. Mongolia is one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change, and most importantly, air, soil pollution in urban areas are considered as dangerous. Over the past 2 decades, the frequency of weather disasters has doubled, and social economic damage is increasing due to environmental problems. We have developed project concept paper through many meetings, consultations, and recommendations. I thank you everyone who spent their time and energy to advise and technical support us. The implementation of this project will significantly contribute to solving many of problems facing in Mongolia. Korea and Mongolia have been part of each other anniversaries from the 13th century, and we have been relationship in many different development paths and still. At a time when the world is making the transition to environmentally friendly green technologies, this project and initiative will be great support for our country. We will learn a lot, make change, and achieve great results with your supports. Lastly, again, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Namdorj, for your comment. We also hope that our project will be implemented and contribute to the climate change response in your country. And lastly, Mr. Emil, could you please share a short comment about the conference?
Hello, everyone. Distinguished excellencies and guests, I just want to thank you on behalf of the Rwandan team that participated to this conference to develop financial models projects. And we are really delighted to learn from the Republic of Korea, especially on what it has achieved so far in terms of waste management. The Republic of Rwanda has not a large carbon footprint globally, but is the one of a country that are mostly affected by climate change impacts. They are committed to achieving zero carbon emission 2050. And this way, we are very committed to develop a green project that will enable the country to achieve that ambitious target. We are looking forward to having a strong and fruitful partnership with the Republic of Korea through this international conference. And we are looking forward to developing a bankable project. We appreciate the commitment of the GCF supporting this conference. We appreciate the availability of EDCF or the Korean Development Bank, the KOICA, and other partners that are willing to support under this process. Finally, we want to express our gratitude to Horin Company Limited for the organization of this workshop, and we are looking forward to finalize this concept note. Thank you very much, and see you in the coming days to have a final document that can really bring to this effort to finalize. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you, Mr. Emil. We had a great time working with you, and we're looking forward to continuing cooperating with you and developing our project even further. And now, I would like to invite Ms. Kavita Sinha. She's Deputy Director of Division of Mitigation and Adaptation at Green Climate Fund to give us the farewell remarks. Ms. Kavita.
Thank you very much for inviting me for providing some closing remarks. First, let me begin by congratulating all the distinguished participants here. Really a great job done. I must congratulate you and laud you really well for your dedication. Doing this on a virtual format is no easy feat, and doing it over several days is really calls for a lot of dedication and your commitment to development in your own countries, as well as on climate change, which is a global problem. So thank you so very much for your effort and dedication. Thank you also for the Horim KXIM, as well as Korean Development Bank, both with the participation of the countries and Korean partners here. It really re-emphasizes the business model of GCF. We are nothing but our partners and the extended arms and legs of our partners. So thank you again for inviting me to represent GCF here and to talk about our commitment to supporting the developing countries in the transition to low emission, climate resilient pathway. Finally, on the terms of the project itself, as I mentioned in the beginning in my opening remarks, the waste is a very important area. Waste contributes throughout the whole cycle, from the manufacturing to distribution to consumption and to the final disposal of the product. There is wastage and all around. And looking at circularity in the whole life cycle will be really path-breaking. 80% of the infrastructure that will be built by 2050 in developing country hasn't been built today. It is going to be built. So there is a humongous opportunity for the countries to really think ambitiously and break away from the past patterns of development that has been seen in either large emerging economies or in the developed countries, which has been very wasteful, if you know what I mean. So there is a humongous opportunity to integrate into the new development pathway circularity from the beginning and look at it in a more comprehensive manner. The amount of funding that is required for both achieving the development goals as well as the climate goals, no single country or no single public or private entity can make it. So partnership is really key. So I'm really, really proud that we are able to come together even in this virtual format. So once again, thank you very much, and look forward, if at all, any of the projects are looking for GCF support, look forward to providing additional inputs as and when required through our excellent AE partners present in this room. But thank you again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sinha, for your remarks. It's our pleasure to have you here with us from the beginning until the end of our event today. We're hoping to working with you and seeing you again in next conferences as well. And next, Mr. Chung Hyuk Jung, Head of Incheon International Development Cooperation Center, will deliver the closing remarks through the screen.
안녕하십니까? 인천국제개발협력센터 센터장 정종혁입니다. 이제 개도국 기후금융 사업모델 발굴 국제 컨퍼런스를 마무리해야 할 시간이 왔습니다. 먼저 코로나19 팬데믹이라는 어려운 여건 속에도 참석해 주신 모든 분들에게 감사드립니다. 지난 16일부터 19일까지 라오스, 몽골, 루안다, 베트남의 환경 관련 관계자분들이 참석하셔서 각국의 폐기물 처리 현황과 아이디어를 공유하고 기후금융에 접근하기 위한 방안을 논의하셨습니다. 본 컨퍼런스의 주제인 폐기물 재자원화는 기후위기와도 관계가 있습니다. 기후위기 대응을 위한 탄소 중립은 우리의 생존에 있어 더 이상 선택이 아닌 필수입니다. 폐기물의 적절한 처리를 위한 기술 협력은 앞으로의 기후변화 대응에 중요한 이슈라고 봅니다. 이 자리를 통해서 여러분이 작성하신 PCP가 실제 사업화 모델로 이어져서 탄소 중립 사회로의 전환에 한 발짝 다가갈 수 있는 기회가 되었기를 바랍니다. 수고하셨습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Mr. Chung, for your remarks. And I would like to thank all the experts, Ms. Han and Ms. Cho from EDCF, Ms. An from KDB, Ms. Yang from GTC, and also Professor Kim from Dongseo University for your time and your advice today. I'm sure they are very meaningful and for the project development of participating countries' government officials. And also thank you all the officers from Lao People's Democratic Republic, Mongolia, Republic of Rwanda, and Vietnam for your time and effort. We are looking forward to seeing you in our post-meeting after the conference to further discuss our projects. And please don't forget to fill out the satisfaction survey. It is very important for us to provide you with the allowance. And as Korea is implementing with Corona policy. We are hoping to seeing you again in person in Korea next year. So that's the end of our 4-day international conference on establishing climate finance business models for developing countries. Thank you so much for your hard work through the past 4 days, as well the pre-meetings. And take care, goodbye, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you. Bye.
See you next
Chào chị
year.
Hiền, chào chị Anh
Thank you,
nha.
everyone.
Thank you.